Welcome to our 13th edition of Capital Conversations. Doctor, we wanted to do a few of these and get warmed up and then do one with you. Look, today I have a nice camera. I didn't have a nice camera 1 week ago. So, you know, we're all learning for learning to be locked down and getting better. So you all know Doctor very well. And like I was mentioning before some of you joined, Doctor is not a new person in the Brand Capital family. Doctor's been around with us just about as long as Brand Capital has been around. So, and Doctor is very well known to most of you that have been with Brand Capital longer than 2, 3, 4 years, okay? But I'll give you a little bit of background about Doctor in case you did not know. Dr. Apoorva Shah is known as the Shah of Trichology. Okay, that is his nickname in the industry for his outstanding contribution to the field of hair and scalp care and hair care in India. And Doctor's Mrs. Sonal Shah, who is they are a power couple in Bombay. That's what they are. They are the power couple, and they're featured in the Limca Book of Records, first certified as the first certified trichologist. Now, that's another first. And RichFeel was actually founded just when I was still in college, guys. This is very important for you guys to know. I was still in IIT when RichFeel was founded. At that time, it was a long time ago. It feels like a long time ago to me. Okay, and so RichFeel is not a startup company that we invested in. When we invested in RichFeel, RichFeel has been around, and RichFeel has been very successful. So so RichFeel has been around. It's a hometown brand in Bombay, and now it's gone across India as well. And the pledge that RichFeel took was to create a bald-free India. It shows they have work to do still. Look here. But the thing is, RichField's pledge is a bald-free India, and they're working at it. They're working at it great. They're located today in 25 cities across India. That's why I was just saying before everybody started, when Doctor does his hairathons, every weekend, Doctor, you're in a different city, right? You go to a different city every weekend, you and Sonal, right?
That's correct.
And it's grueling. That's a level of commitment you don't see from many promoters, and I salute that. It's outstanding. So, and Doctor's customers, I'm not going to name them, who's who of cricketers, Bollywood actors, actresses, feminine event people, and perhaps some of you, and you're not telling me, huh? Perhaps some of you, huh? So I don't know, let it remain a secret. So Doctor's been around. Doctor is an old hand, and Doctor is family to Brand Capital. So that is a brief intro of Doctor. And Doctor, this format is very simple. It's like coffee with Karan without the provocative aspects of it, right? It's very, very straightforward. It's a multi-way discussion. I have a few questions to ask, but Siva has some questions to ask. So I'll ask the questions, and Siva may ask his questions, and then after we go through 7 or 8 questions, and we'll throw it open to the group, so the group can ask you questions. Is that okay, Doctor?
Yes, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine, Sam.
So tell us, Doctor, we are in COVID, and we just can't escape that. The reason why this thing is happening on video and not in our boardroom is because of COVID. And that's brass tacks reality we're all faced with. Tell us about your industry, the hair and beauty industry, not necessarily only trichology. I'm talking hair and beauty industry. Tell us broadly the impact of COVID on this industry. We have heard a lot. Hair salons are finally opening in Denmark, in Germany, and they say that in New York with some special PPEs, they're allowed to get a haircut. Tell us about the impact on your industry broadly.
Sam, we are living in a once-in-a-lifetime situation. I mean, you can say it's a once in 100 years, or maybe a once in a lifetime, or once in centuries. Nobody is ever prepared for something like this. It's out of the blue. We are living in unprecedented times. And obviously it's taking a toll on all of us in some form or the other. The industry which I belong to, and industry where beauty is a part of the whole industry, like whether it's skin care or hair care, or let's say salons which are doing beauty treatments, it's a see and touch industry. I mean, you go there, you see everything, you feel very happy, and then obviously, there's a touch. So it's a one-to-one connect with the patients. It is not something where you're just consulting and, you can just get away with it. So here, I believe, our industry will be the worst affected, one of the worst affected, because, it's a touch point. And when the touch point gets eliminated, it's very difficult for a person to be satisfied. So I think, our industry is going to face the brunt of all the, negative part of the whole COVID. But as I said, you will have to brace for it. There is no other choice right now. And even where it's opening, Sam, right? Yeah, suppose you said that some of the places it's opening.
Yes.
But the situation at the ground level is very difficult. It's very different. Opening for the sake of opening is one thing, and getting the people in is another thing. So it's going to take its time. We'll have to ride through this difficult phase.
Good. Doctor, I feel you. We are in the newspaper business. Ours is not as much contact as your industry, and we are feeling the pain. And I've talked to a bunch of companies in our portfolio, everybody from packaged goods to food to delivery, online, e-commerce, what have you. Everybody's impacted in your industry, spa, hair salons, hair replacement. They're probably as impacted as a travel, airline, those kind of industries, pretty sharp. Now tell us this. We are going through what I call a salon abstinence for a period of time. 3 months we've had salon abstinence, and people are doing whatever they can. I changed my hair to acclimate to DIY. I had to do what I had to do. Siva's growing out his hair like a rock star. So
yes, I could see that.
Yeah, so Siva's doing the rock star approach. I did the rock approach, the movie star rock. I went that way and Siva went the other way. So now post-COVID, do you see this abstinence change, and do you see people come back? I mean, I know people personally in my life who have a separate credit card only for salon use because they want to track how much they spent on that in a year. It's happened in my life. I've experienced it. Now, that means there is a large amount of money being spent on that thing. So there's been a lot of salon craving in the world, and that's become salon abstinence now for 3 months. Do you see that salon craving come back? What is your view of that? And I mean with respect to India in particular.
Sam, few things here. There is a thing called revengeful spending.
Yes.
So what will happen once we open is this pent-up energy which has been there will unleash itself. And for the first fortnight, I think, all of us will be flooded. And moment that happens, then I don't see much of a problem as far as the COVID is concerned. Public memory is short. And even today, if you see when Mumbai has opened, people are lining up to have samosas. Right? So public memory is short in that sense. But yes, what will happen is that the amount of money which is going to be there with people.
Yes.
Right? That is the key factor now for our growth or our existence. I wouldn't say growth. Growth is now gone for this year. The idea is to survive. Right? It's a survival package which all of us have to live on. And I think that's going to be the biggest challenge after the initial euphoria. That, how do you, at least sustain, the straight line, at least, whether it's not growing up, but at least the straight line.
Yes. So, listen, that's very true. I actually have to agree, based on some data that I've got from talking to prepare for this discussion. I talked to some people elsewhere when the salons have opened already, namely Germany and the US. What you're saying is exactly what is happening. So my two friends in Germany, they got their hair appointments 30 days after the first day they allowed salons. Now, it is not because the capacity was constrained, it's because they created separation. You can only have so many people in the salon at a time and all that. Salons were allowed to be open till 2 in the morning. They did some of those things. And so people can get a haircut or a shampoo or whatever. So you're right, people will come back. Now my question is, this is another question I think you touched upon my next question already. Haircut, 1,000 rupees, people will go get it done. 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees, a haircut, people will, if the hair is growing too long, they'll go do it. But psychology is not that. It's a big ticket item. Many people have lost their jobs. Some people know they'll lose their jobs. Some people have lost parts of their paycheck. Lots of chaos in the system. I truly believe all this is getting straightened out and coming back in a year, but you can't wait for a year for this. Now, people want at the same time to do something for themselves to feel good, to give themselves a pat on the back and feel good. Now, this could be something. But my question to you is, just from your perspective, from where you sit, when do you think people are going to come back and spend? Is that 3 months or is that 1 year? When people will spend like they did before on your treatments?
In our medical terms, we call it the infant mortality rate, where the child has to survive the first 3 months after birth. So I think, come beginning July, August and September are going to be the test months for all of us to do the survival part. And come 3 months gone by, June, July, August, September. So from October onwards, I think, we should start taking off. For the first 3 months, we are only projecting 30% of the income.
Achha, 30%.
Only 30%. And then October, November, December, we are going to 50%. And then January, February, March, we are straight away projecting that it will go to at least 80%.
So January, February, March. So you think around Diwali, there is no big spike coming? Diwali, you don't see that?
Yeah, at least in my industry, where I think the key will be survival, and two ways to do it, as I understand it. Obviously, severe cost cutting, but you can tighten the belt to a point. Otherwise, your stomach will start paining.
Yes.
So we'll have to do as much as we can in terms of the cost cutting. But as I said, we'll have to live with this now.
Have you reopened anywhere, doctor, like Bangalore or somewhere south? Nowhere.
We have been very particular. A lot of people have opened, rest of India other than Maharashtra. But we've been very careful, because opening for the sake of opening is again another no-no. Because you see, you have so many things to look into. It is better that the team is confident enough to come. The people are confident enough to come. And hence, just the video is going out today that we are opening from 1st of July. And we have explained the rationale why we are opening from 1st of July. Because we are 2 weeks, away from the peak. So we thought let June pass by, it will become much more safer. Half the transport is available, half the transport is not available.
Yes.
So as I said, it's just, you're opening for the sake of opening doesn't make sense in a business which we run. So it's important, the safety part for everybody, the patients and our own team. And at the same time to look into from when can really the business take off, even if it's 30%. But it should be there that at least it will go for 30%. If you just open it and it doesn't come even to 10%, then it simply does not make sense. At the same time, jeopardizing the health of our staff and of the patients.
Yeah. Sammy, if I can come in now, sorry, just one question. The doctor, of course, we started the call when you said that Shiva has grown the hair, but obviously it is the need of the hour, because when there's a crisis, all crises are opportunities. Right? So it's an opportunity to change. So similarly, for all businesses, also as you said, you have cut cost drastically and all. So all crises are definitely opportunities. And if you really ask me, going forward with the face and the mask, the only thing you can see is the eye and the hair. and obviously it becomes much more important because no, it becomes because people care a lot about the identity and personality.
Yes.
So in that context, and also going forward, and you did very well explain the whole concept of touch and feel, and saying that it's very difficult for people to come back to clinics. And one of the biggest costs of a business like yours has been retail footprint, because the rentals of the various things. So, and people do say that anything which cannot be digitally served, bought, or consumed, going forward, it becomes more and more relevant. So I wanted to ask you, have you really started applying mind? Have you started building virtual consulting, virtual models, like a call like this, when all of us are sitting together, and I'm from actually sitting at home. This is a virtual background. So have you really started thinking, applying mind, and technology is evolving so much that you and your set of panel of doctors can actually start examining people and giving digital consultancy, looking at options, then sending medicine, because you're not you don't need a real touch and feel. Yes, I know it sometimes need examination and all, but some aspects of your business can also be digitally served through the screens like this. Have you thought of it, or it's in a physical impossibility?
No. So Shiva, first to start on a lighter note.
Yes.
You see, one of the cost-cutting measures which we decided was that to have haircuts only with the wife at home. So that saves around about 2,000 rupees a month.
Right.
And I believe me, in my building, a lot of people, including myself, have got a haircut from the better half.
Okay.
Right? So this is on a lighter
no
note.
such luck for you.
So this is on a lighter note, Shiva.
Yes, understood.
But way back in 2007, when we did this wonderful deal with Brand Capital, and everybody knows the story that we've really grown because of this deal, right? At one of the functions immediately held, on the occasion of us signing the deal, I was able to meet Mr. Samir Arora and Mr. Mr. Samir Jain and Mr. Vineet Jain.
Yes.
And in that party, right, it was in that house get together. I think we went to one of their homes.
Sunita.
Yes. So, I think, Mr. Jain, Vineet Jain came up to me and said, I'm talking about 2007.
Yes.
And he came up to me and he said, the doctor, start thinking about going to people's home.
Okay.
Now I'm talking this about 2007.
Right.
That, while you are doing consultation and people are coming to you, but you need to build up a module where you can go to people's home.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So I'm saying way back in 2007, this was given as an idea. Now coming, I'm turning a full circle now.
Yes.
Right. In this modern times where we are, right, and the situation which we are facing, two things which are going to be very relevant now is there a way where we can get in touch with the patients without the patients coming to us physically? Now, as you know, previously till April, you could not do consultation online. It was not ethical. For the first time, you needed to see the patient. Then the follow-ups could have been done.
Right.
But then the notification came in from the government because of this situation. And now you're freely allowed to do consultation, where you call it teleconsultation, you call it online consultation, whatever it is. Previously, it was not medico-legally allowed. Now it is allowed. Then comes the situation that how much can we do online, and how many people can we see, or what type of patients we can see. So yes, I think the line which we are in, if we upgrade technology, there is a way to even check the scalp on the screen, right? And we already started the online consultations in a big way, and slowly but surely we are building up creating a separate team of trichologists only for online consultation, and then doing the telemedicine also, that we can send the medicines also online and they can pay online. So digitalization of trichology,
yes,
is coming through now.
Wow. No, that's what I could relate to, because as you said, the crisis again opens up what was considered impossible or what was considered illegal. becomes legalized.
Yes, yes.
Because you cannot advise without touching a patient. But today, today you don't have to do it. That's
correct.
what a crisis brings to this.
That's correct.
So I'm delighted to know that you can actually examine the scalp
Yes, yes,
on a screen. So
yes.
therefore, have you started doing some kind of training to doctors to start doing these practices? Have you already used this lockdown to do the transformation of your business?
Just to let you know, Mr. Shikumar, right, my friend, that my daughter, Dr. Suyomi, has become a trichologist, and now become a dermatologist.
Congratulations, congratulations to you.
So she's been at home over the last 2 months' time.
Yes.
After she's become a dermat, and the way I'm seeing this youngster setting up the online consultation and making a huge success of it. And when I'm running a 100 crore company and I'm running 90 clinics and I'm saying a huge success, you will understand, at to what level I'm saying that a single doctor sitting at home doing consultation, it's just humongous from morning 7 to evening, night 12 o'clock. She's doing consultations.
Wow.
Now, that's a huge learning process. The reason I brought this in here is for all of us, it was a huge, and it is a huge learning process. In fact, I have put my team on to her to understand, what is she doing correctly that she's, able to, ramp up so much so quickly. And that's how we have created a team of trichologists who are going to be full-time online. So there will be now 2 verticals of trichology. One is the clinic care and one is the digital care.
Got it.
And that's how we are going to, we're already doing it. The training is going on because it's a very different way, when a patient cannot come to see you personally. It requires even more skills for you to get the right information and get the confidence of the patient. Because this is very important, the first step, right? To understand what's wrong with the patient and to build up the confidence of the patient without physically meeting the patient.
Right. Understood.
So,
No, this is brilliant. It's brilliant to see that the new generation has actually taken over and the speed with which they adapt to the new normal. And from that, there has been so much lessons. So much lessons. I'm delighted to hear this. And therefore, you are saying that you have adapted that, you're learning from her and implementing it for.
Yes, as Sam said, Sam was kind enough to say that he's learning from all these webinars. Yes. I think, we are learning from the youngsters. In fact, my son, right, he keeps on telling the whole day, are you on digital platform? Are you doing this? Your Facebook and Instagram is not up to the mark, right? This is what you need to do. This is what you have to do, right? You have to be in times with the modern times. So, this constant hammering with staying with youngsters also makes a world of a difference.
Sorry, Sam, go ahead. So I just wanted to ask some of.
This is, in fact, that question was a very important question. I had it in my mind as well. It's a very important question because a business has to pivot when an opportunity comes. A business has to pivot when there's such adversity comes, because in the adversity there is an opportunity for sure.
To continue that point, I'm sure you would have you really renegotiated rents? Have you given up offices? How are you approaching the whole matter?
So we've got around about 90 clinics across India. So we've started from April onwards for the renegotiation of the rents. So we've been able to convince everybody except 12 for a 2 months waiver.
Right.
Now that was the first step. We are trying now for the 3rd month because we are not starting from June, we are starting from July.
Right.
So we are pushing hard on that. So that's the first step down the line, and then obviously the second step is, could there be some cost reduction over there also? So we are working furiously on that also as a part of our cost reduction.
So could you give us some insights, if it's not confidential, that what will be a substantial part of your cost, and other than is it rentals, and how you have gone about cost cutting?
So my corporate expenditure per month was around about 7 crores and 6 lakhs.
Right.
And over the next 9 months, starting from July, we are bringing it down to 4 crore and 89 lakhs.
Wow. Okay.
Now,
Guys, I have to interrupt you, doctor. This kind of of numbers. He is the CEO of a company with 850 people in 25 cities. And look how he said his numbers. Doctor, please say it again. This is what I love about entrepreneurs. You know that 7 lakhs. And sometimes I tell my people, when they say, oh, Sammy, there is 3,000-4,000 crores, I'll say, what if I pay you 2-3 lakhs? Or 1 month I pay you 2 lakhs, 1 month I pay you 3 lakhs. So it is like, this is it's pleasing to me. Thank you, doctor. Thank you for being so specific. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. But as I said, honestly, Sam, it's a question of survival now. I mean, having come 35 years in a career spanning 35 years, at 55, you start wondering what next, right? It's like a knockout punch. And only those who are going to survive are then going to be winners. I'm 100% sure people who survive this onslaught and who will survive the next 3 months, the infant mortality rate, as I call it, will see themselves through. And the biggest thing to do on that is, obviously, the first thing is what is in our hands, which is cost control.
Yes.
So coming down from 7 crore 6 lakhs to 4 crore and 89 lakhs has been on paper a huge challenge, but we have utilized this 2 months for a lot of introspection. We have utilized it well, and we are going to unfold it from the 22nd, which is Monday onwards. We are going to unfold this whole cost cutting to the whole team as to how we are going to carry this forward. And obviously, it will require the team also to shoulder with us, hand in hand. I'm using the word shoulder to us with hand in hand because it's important, because without the team, you can't be there. But fortunately at RichFeel, I've been blessed over the last 35 years to have a magnificent team and, who believe in RichFeel. And we do not have deep pockets, Sam. It's very difficult for us. And, we had a huge problem that the bank, which we were banking for 35 years, that went bust on 21st of September, the Punjab and Maharashtra Cooperative Bank.
Yes.
And we had a 60 crore limit, which has gone to the dogs. And, we are running a 100 crore company without a working capital limit. So, I mean, it's one of those one tsunamis after another. And, October onwards, we were earning on a Sunday and spending on a Monday. And on 18th of March, that has stopped.
Yes.
So it's been a huge challenge. Nothing is going to be easy. It's not only just about cost cutting. You see the various vendors which we have, right? That is also a part of the RichFeel family, whether it's Google, whether it's Facebook, whether it is, Bennett, whoever it is down the line, we'll have to support people who are genuine. Because if somebody takes a stand that you make the previous payment and then only will allow you to continue, then simply it's a dead end.
Yes.
I have written this to Google, I have written this to Facebook with a complete business plan as to how we will repay over the next 4 months once we start. We are asking for July, so we are saying repayment will start from August. And in the next 4 months from August, we'll make all the repayments which is due for the past creditors. But if the creditor comes up and says, hey, listen, doc, I will only allow you to start advertising, or I'll only give you raw material once you make my previous payment, then it's going to be a dead end. So there are going to be many boxes or many points on this rainbow which will have to click for us to shine back again. It's the cost cutting measures, it's the help from the vendors. It's going to be many things which will have to fall into place if industries like us have to survive.
Are you getting any help from the government at all as a business in any way beyond that regulatory change, one change they allowed you to do telemedicine? Are they letting you, financing terms, anything at all?
I think, the finance minister and the, from the prime minister's office, this thing which came up for MSMEs,
yes,
which was giving 20% of your outstanding, your limits, 20% of your limits, to be granted without a single collateral,
yes,
and for which you don't have to pay for the first year, but you have to only pay it after the first year. I think that's tremendous. But unfortunately, it doesn't apply to RichFeel because RichFeel doesn't have a bank.
So you have to have a bank with a line in place.
Exactly.
So they don't make any exception for you to find you another bank.
cannot be till the time the resolution does not happen on this bank.
But even if you get another bank, you won't get such a large line now because you need assets to collateralize that.
That's correct. That's correct. So it's a RichFeel is in a very unique position at this point of time, Sam. But as I said, with the good wishes of all of you and with my team and the family members, we are chugging along and looking to fight it out.
I think the point that you said in answer to Siva's question about the next generation showing that interest and doing it, it is my estimation that I myself had doubts about some of this, the youth in the next generation, and many of them are teenagers, etc., in our own family. I have no doubt now. I have absolutely no doubt now. Because even if what they do looks like an error, even if they spend a little bit extra money than we would, within our budget, allow them to do, they are leading the market. Just like how Steve Jobs created a market for smartphone. And BlackBerry had a smartphone, but Steve Jobs created that experience on the device as the modicum of decision making. He made that and then it changed everything. Samsung made billions of dollars in profit. I mean, one big part due to Steve Jobs teaching the world to use a smartphone and making it so ridiculously expensive. So many others have made profit because the phone is cheaper. So I think this next generation people, their ideas, what you're doing, learning from them. I salute you for that because it's hard to do, because it feels a little bit like turbulence in the plane because they go out and they make decisions and that costs us money. But they have a view, like they say, unless you're a lead car in the train, the scenery never changes. They are the lead car in the train. They are leading the world. We are not. We are not. We have given them the keys. They are leading them the world, and COVID's going to accelerate it. They are leading the world, and we better learn how to trust them because they'll take us home and they'll make us rich. But I think we'll have to find a way to embrace that happily in our heart, and I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad you're doing it.
There is no other way, Sam. There's no other way.
I think that one idea Siva said, like I always say when I was at American Express, when people say the competition is Visa, Master, they used to say that, diners, JCB. I say no. I used to say in American Express that my competition, doctor, is not Visa, Master, Discover, JCB, diners, no. My competition is cash. When people are spending in cash, they won't come to card, okay? So your competition is not some other hair care person in this new world. Your competition is actually nothing. You can, with telemedicine, give teletrichology, e-trichology. In fact, we should work separately together, guys. Now I'm talking to Brand Capital team. We should work with Doctor, create a e-trichology platform. You can treat people in Indonesia. You can treat people in Frankfurt. You can treat people anywhere once you have a digital platform. And I was going to ask you another question, and I hijacked myself. You have a lot of good products, high quality products, and your products make good margins. Nothing stopping you from selling your products to Sri Lanka or Indonesia or Bangladesh or Frankfurt. It doesn't matter. Once you have that platform, your market suddenly became much, much bigger, and you open your vistas very differently. And if that business produces 20% of your revenue, doctor, your valuation just became a 5x, because that is the growth, and it'll change everything. So that question, Siva, thank you for asking, because in that question lies the idea that is the silver lining. It will change you dramatically.
And to expand a little, because Shiv asked me, in how am I doing it? So obviously, the 7 crore 9 going to 4 crore and 86 lakhs involves, the restructuring of the salaries.
Yes.
It involves restructuring of the vendor agreements.
Rents.
It involves restructuring of the rental parts. So it's a list from top to bottom, right? Which we have been doing on paper, and which we'll unleash it from Monday the 22nd of June. But this is how it's going to be. So from 1st of July, the expenditure is not going to go beyond 4 crore and 89 lakhs.
That's it. See, we'll have a separate call, doctor, and we'll put a small team together to help you on that e-trichology. I'm just much more excited now after talking to you. I'm sorry, guys. It's become a one-to-one talk. We'll bring everybody in.
Correct, Sammy, because even without COVID, the clinics model had faced the challenge of scalability. So yes. I think, as Shiva and you just mentioned, this COVID opportunity may just give us an opportunity to break away from that and address scalability.
Exactly. And Doc, lo and behold, if we are able to create customer set who are not core customers of the online platform, you start an online platform with your existing customers as an additional service. But the moment you get traction on the non-core customers of RichFeel today coming in and even taking 1,000 rupee examination treatment, that's all. And some products. If you open that vista a little bit and you're able to go 2 crores, 3 crores, 5 crores in revenue from that, I'm just telling you, the business entirely changes and you get valued as a digital company, not as a one with fixed stores. And then everything changes. And then all the 35 years of effort and learnings will all be borne out in 3 years after that, if we successfully do that.
Absolutely. So much of learning over the last 2 months, Sam.
I mean, yeah.
Can I ask you this question, Doctor, that we all know what are the difficult experiences and there would be a huge list. But can you tell us that has there been any very pleasantly surprised? Have you been very pleasantly surprised by some change brought about by COVID, whether it could be reaction of the people, reaction of team, reaction of business, reaction of customer, and say that, wow, it give you a, and it was necessitated by the COVID crisis.
So first thing, is that, people are happy to see us home.
Right.
For 35 years, the children said, that they've never seen me or Sonal. So they are very happy.
That's very good. Absolutely brilliant.
That's a very good one.
We have been able to have breakfast and lunch at least together every day.
Right.
Right. So I think that's been and the reason why I'm saying this is when you are in an environment which is suitable to your life,
right,
clears the thinking process. And I think, I've learned this from you. Whenever I meet up with you, right, you always emphasize, Doc, take it easy, don't take so much stress, create the right environment. Seeing you running and jogging at 5 in the morning, correct? It's always been, that you need to create the right atmosphere and the stratosphere. So being in the right stratosphere in the last 2 months, right, has been a great help. Like I give you an example, when we are sitting out of the blue, my wife Sonal said, that telemedicine is going to be the in thing. Apoorva, just concentrate on that. My son Shaurya says digital marketing is the thing where you need to look into. Looking at Suyomi, I see that how much she scaled up her consultation in 2 months' time, just doing online consultation. So I think it gave us time to pause and think, because otherwise we are so fast and every day is going in firefighting from morning to night. So that was my first biggest I think positive experience in this last 2 or 3 months. But obviously that is beginning at home and looking at home down the line. The other thing was the learning which I could make out in the last 2 months, that honestly it is not necessary to travel. It's crazy the amount of time we are spending traveling.
Right.
I mean, I would go for an hour's meeting to LA just to meet somebody for an hour from Bombay. Correct. So I think it's a great learning experience for somebody like me, and I think my whole team, they all realize that there is no need now to run around across the length and breadth of the country. We can clearly do it on the digital platform, on the with the help of technology. So it will reduce tremendous costs. It will also utilize your energy in a better way. So it's time, money, energy, everything which will get saved by this new learning which we are having, that there's not necessary to travel so much across India. Obviously, some situations you have to, but there are a lot of things which can just be done using the technology help. The third thing which came about was that we are a 50% product industry and a 50% service industry. So let's say 100 rupees which I make, 50 rupees comes from the products which I give to the patients, and 50 rupees comes from the services which I am giving to the patient. Now we realize that people will be wary to come in for services. So we quickly got into the act, and we have, at RichFeel, to give an example, there is a wonderful treatment called Anagrow for hair thinning, and there's a wonderful treatment called TST for hair loss, which requires patients to come in for sittings inside. Now we created a whole new product called Ana Elixir, where people need not come for the services, but we will give them these products which will replace the services, and they don't have to come to the clinics. So in this critical time when people are a little afraid to come out, we are creating an alternative solution.
Is that selling? Is that type of product sales, has it gone up during lockdown?
As I said, we are waiting for us to open, because the services we can only start once we open.
No, I mean the products, the kits that you are shipping.
That products will replace the services.
So you're not selling it now during lockdown?
No, this product is being designed to replace the services, while the other products which contribute 50% of the income of the RichFeel, that's being given online.
How is that selling during lockdown?
Touch wood, it's good. I wouldn't say great, but it's at least the churn goes on. At least you can keep.
Is it about the same or more or less per month?
Obviously, it's much less, but at this same point of time, you see, for doing any online marketing, you require budgets to market it on the digital medium. So we are not doing any digital marketing over the last 3 months, or no marketing at all over the last 3 months.
Okay.
Because if your clinics are shut, there was no point in just spending money.
Yes.
So it is just purely going by the SMS messages or the phone calls which the call center does, and people then just book it online, and then we supply it across.
No, I think that things like that, I mean, that you just said about creating a kit out of a service, and then that creates a natural extension for the service, right? So you can then, you have some customers coming in for that service where you have a location, but then after they come in for the service once, for subsequent treatments, you can send the kit to them.
Absolutely.
And then people who are not in that town or some other town where you don't have a location, you can ship it. I think that actually multiplies your market. You're able to go far beyond the catchment of your location. And that is, so on the product side, have you seen any price pressure? Did you have to give any discounts or anything to keep customers in, or nothing?
No, India is a price conscious society, Sam. But at the same time, I've never seen people asking for discounts on products. In my so many years of practice, I've always seen people asking discounts on services which I offer.
Okay.
Right? But for products, it's always been so far a smooth sailing.
Because of the MRP concept, I guess. Because there's an MRP of the product, and there's something about ISI MRP is in India.
Yeah, correct.
Doctor, but you made three interesting points when I asked you what are your pleasant experience. One is, of course, you said about the family life and the importance of the family, and a lot of us are discovering that. And we always used to live for the future. Now, suddenly we have started living for the present. Second is, you have talked about travel and so much travel, and now you presently find that traveling for half an hour to Los Angeles for a meeting, half an hour meeting in Los Angeles all the way is just not worth it. And third, of course, you are talking about emphasis more on products versus services and how you are re-engineering a business. So, and obviously this call has so many people, and so what are the 1 or 2, 3 advices you would like to give to this larger team, and from your experience, and saying that whether it's personal, whether it's official, whether it's entrepreneurial, because entrepreneurial wisdom, as Sammy said, one of the points he very rightly picked up, the attention to details. You don't miss a decimal also when you speak about it. So, and from your experience, wisdom, and an entrepreneur, a 30 years experience means, guys in the team, it's about 100 years of experience, because they multitask. And I always make this point that 2008 was a financial crisis. And that crisis taught us how to sweat assets, because that's where the whole sharing economy emerged. 2010 crisis about human being themselves have to multitask. It's about sweating of the human beings themselves. And entrepreneur, because you will have to multitask going forward. There's no question of saying that you have to cook at a personal level, you have to sweep, you have to swap, you have to cook at one level. And at the official level, you can't say that this is a technical support cell or this is a marketing. You have to do all function, all rolled into one. And for years and decades, entrepreneurs have always been doing that function. Sometimes they have to deliver a product, sometimes they are the boss, sometimes they are an employee, sometimes they are this. So that's why 2010 crisis is about sweating of human beings and how do we multitask and So in that context, I'm asking my good friend, one of the entrepreneur I have admired, who never gives up, this specific question. Doctor, all yours.
So, Shiv, if you ask me, what these 2 months have taught me, while life has been a journey over the last 35 years, and as you correctly said, 35 years of Sonal's life and 35 years of mine.
Yes.
So it's 70 years of a, combined lifespan just doing trichology.
Yes.
Correct. If you were to ask me, what did I do in these 2 months and what have I learned? I think the biggest, contemplation and the biggest learning, if I were to tell all my friends over here and all the people who are listening and my entrepreneurs in this world, I think, don't over leverage yourself. I mean, this is the first learning which is hitting me now, because in times like this, obviously nobody ever knows that something like this will ever come. But that it has come, it will teach us, all of us, to be prepared for the worst.
Right.
So, if any company is over leveraged, I mean, I can say I'm a first generation entrepreneur and that's the reason why I'm over leveraged or so on and so forth. But the people who will survive this will be people who are not over leveraged. This is something which I think, it has taught me that, if I were to live my life all over again, and somebody would say, that, Dr. Shah, you're starting trichology all over again, then I would rather give equity and not debt. And, I mean, this is one of the lessons which I've learned, that, the expense control, I wouldn't say even expense control, in the passion of creating a brand, right? You always try to leverage as much as you can. And I think there are much better ways in today's world to do this. So first, never over leverage yourself. I think this is the biggest learning I'm taking away from this 2 months of introspection, because as I said, survival then becomes a big challenge. I mean, not that it doesn't become a challenge for everybody else, but at least there are some ways and means of how you can take this forward if you're not that over leveraged as you are normally. So that's something which I would definitely like to bring about. Rest, as I said, life has been a learning experience. Every year, every minute, every day, and every time you meet some people, it's a learning experience. So one thing which I have learned, I always used to say this and I always used to believe in it, but today, 2 or 3 months into the COVID, I sincerely want to re-emphasize this, that always surround yourself with people who are better than you. It could be your child, it could be your servant, it could be anybody, but somebody who is better than you, not just by qualification, but simply somebody who can bring it to your attention, something which you wouldn't. I think for us to succeed, it's always important to have people who are better than us, and you surround them, surround yourself with those people. It's a great learning experience over the last 2-3 months. I don't know whether I'm able to put it across, but as I said, not to over leverage yourself, surround yourself with people who are better than you. And I think, maybe a realization now that maybe the service industry was good as it lasted. But as years go by, right, maybe the focus has to shift more on the product side and less on the services side.
Understood. Like Sammy was telling me about Sammy or Rajesh Sharma, I don't know who, they were talking about a new comb, which when you just comb it, it cuts your hair. Rajesh, you were talking about
Clipper.
Wow.
So when you comb your hair, it seems that it starts, trimming it properly. And therefore it's a product. Actually, this is a great example of what you just said. You don't have to go to a salon. The product is solving the problem, which a service had done it. Whereas the last decade has taught us that productization of services versus services, and this conflict will go on. I don't know who will win, but at least in COVID, it is products which are winning.
Absolutely, yes, true, absolutely.
Doc, that last question that you answered about that shows your resilience, and that it's a hallmark of a true warrior. That resilience to be able to fight, to keep the team together, the family together. I mean, you not only kept your team together, you kept Sonal in the business with you 35 years together. Now, this is not an easy thing to do. It's actually.
I hope she's listening.
It's harder to do than just keeping the team together. I salute you for it. I stayed single to get away from all those problems. So you're talking from another warrior who has chosen not to fight that battle. So I have deep respect. So guys, it's a friendly group. Now I'll open it up. Guys, please ask Doctor any questions. I'm sure you've all learned quite a bit from what Doctor said, and I'll open the floor. Please ask any questions. I'll let you ask it yourself. Come on, unmute your phones now, please. Otherwise, we can't hear you. Oh, somebody has.
Hi, Doc. So my question is, this industry has successfully managed to penetrate India to a large extent, especially to a better off consumer segment. So while there is merit in expanding to similar overseas market, like Sami said, Indonesia and other places, do you also see a merit in reaching out to Bharat? So in that case, what sort of products or marketing adaptations, for example, sachayization of your product, you briefly touched it, about some DIY services. Do you see some sort of marketing or product adaptations to to achieve this?
Could you just because I missed your first part, it took a little time.
No, he's asking while we discussed taking your products or some of your services that can be provided telemedicine far and wide, and I give examples like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Indonesia and all that. He's asking India versus Bharat. Okay, majority of your locations are in India, so to speak. People who are the higher per capita income, the Times of India, English paper reading, not just the higher demographic of India, right? The top 10%, top 20% of India. He's asking, do you have any plans with products and services to go to Bharat, basically Patna, where you have one of your best locations that make a lot of money for you. So you're already in Bharat, but tell us if you have any specific plans to penetrate more in Bharat. That's what he's asking.
And Sami, if I can just add to that question. So while, Doc, the perception is like what it is saying that these kind of businesses are for India. But I think some data we have seen in the past which says that, the tier 2 segments within the tier 1 cities also and otherwise also are actually a big consumer of these services. So if you can share that experience also.
So the 90 clinics. So the correct India is the aspirational India, the aspirational Bharat, as we call it. And clinics which are in the hinterland, which are the 2-tier and the 2 tiers and the 3-tier cities, like Patna or the Bhubaneswar or the Dehraduns, they do much better business.
Already? You mean already before COVID?
Every clinic which I've opened in the 2-tier or the 3-tier cities is doing much better.
Wow.
That is what I meant, Sami. Actually, it's counterintuitive.
No, I knew that you had told me once when you're having a meal that Patna is his biggest business, of biggest location, biggest store, right, Doc?
So Bhopal is doing very well, Indore is doing very well, Patna is doing very well, Guwahati is doing very well, Bhubaneswar is doing very well. So the real expansion should be in the 2 and the 3-tier cities or towns.
Towns, yeah. No, I think, and guys, that is this is a lesson for all of us that hair. I've noticed this. I know this personally, Doc. I've always been challenged with hair, and as a single man, that doesn't pose any challenge in America or Europe, but that poses a huge challenge in India. In India, a man will not get a spouse easily if he doesn't have hair at a young age. But in America and Europe, it is absolutely no barrier. Absolutely no barrier. So as long as that is the demographic behavior, wherever people are losing hair, that's a market for you. People will spend inelastically. And those tier 2 towns also have the same problem. Correct, Doc?
Yes, hair and skin are the two most visible parts of a human anatomy.
Yeah.
And go a long way in developing a person's self-image, prestige, and confidence.
Yes. Yes.
And as Shiva said, that if skin becomes a no entry, at least the first point is the hair, and that I think it has a great market, it has a great future. The new India, the Bharat, or the India, whatever you call it, is the aspirational India. And honestly, I think it's a huge potential. Yes, everybody was growing at 15 to 20% minimum year on year. It's just that that's a minimum, I'm saying, correct? Yeah, in terms of that. And the products also growing by 25 to 30% year on year. It's just one of those things which has hit us. It's a reset button for all of us. Obviously, what future holds, nobody knows. But we all have to prepare ourselves, in that sense.
Doc, is there a way to think about some kind of budget plans or financing options for people to get them out and spend when they come out of this?
Sam, I got a very interesting proposal yesterday from one of the finance companies, which said that they're coming out with a scheme where the patient comes in and you do the treatment now and pay later. It's just like a credit card.
Doc, will they pay you 100%?
Yes, they will pay us 100%, and the patient will have to pay after a month. It's like a credit card swipe.
That's good. They're giving a 1 month moratorium.
Absolutely.
So if there's a big reputed company, that may be a great idea for you.
Yes, I'm very excited about it, because I think it will open up a lot of new opportunities.
Yes.
So if one financial company has thought about it, I'm sure we'll be flooded with a lot of offers.
Yes. It's. I think that kind of things are needed to get people back to this, because to your point about hair and skin being the largest visible parts of the human body, and probably suffers positive or negative calibration in perception in both ways. It's something people will inelastically spend, and that's a good thing.
I had a question. Can I ask?
Yeah.
Yes,
Sure. This business has an element of privacy. So how will you take care of that when you have to go to people's homes?
Well, going to people's home is a privacy by itself, isn't it, Vish?
It's just that the neighbors, because I know clinics in Bangalore, they have a separate entrance for well-to-do celebrities. So it's just that there is an element of privacy. I'm just asking, how will it change when you go to, I don't know, houses or apartments?
Vish, I'll give you an example. I got a call from one of the topmost celebrities, and he mentioned that, Dr. Shah, I would like you to come home for a consultation. And at that point of time, a few years back, I said, you'll have to come and visit my clinic, because without checking your scalp, how will I make out what's wrong with you? And he said, Doc, you charge whatever you want to charge, but it's my principle that I do not go to any clinic. And, I think, at that point of time, something got over me, and I said, it's my principle that I don't go to people's home. Right? But I think the situation is reversed now, Vish. Yeah. I think, when you go to people's homes, obviously, right, nobody's going to tom-tom about it. People are going to be discreet about it. And I think, it's a great opportunity for home visits now.
Yes, of course.
So, as you said, everything is 50-50 at this point of time, Vish. But I think it's going to be a new millennium, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of trial and learning. There's going to be little trying and recalibrating and learning. That's going to happen for sure, Doc. And
Absolutely.
Any other questions, guys?
Sammy, one question for Doc. So, Doc, as we know, as any industry mature, it gets more specialized, more and more specialized and verticalized. In your industry, what do you think in the near future, let's say in the next 3 years, is it going to be like an umbrella brand which addresses everything, hair, face, everything, or is it going to be in the next 3 years that there'll be a separate brand specializing for hair and separate brand and business specializing for face, skin, and so on? How do you see the industry then?
So, Rajesh, we've always been in trichology. So we are hair and scalp care. We have never been hair and skin care. Correct. But as we go into the new millennium, I'm keeping on using this word because I think the moment we open, it's going to be a new millennium. The maximum utilization per square feet of your space. So if I have a 800 or 1,000 square feet clinic in all the big cities and even bigger, then I think, time has come where, you have to maximize the potential of that space. So it could be a weight loss, which you could add in. It could be a skincare vertical, which you could add in. There are so many things which can now happen, and a consolidation of all the beauty under one roof can take place for survival.
Okay. And added to that, you explained us the geographical spread of business, what is the spread according to age groups? So in which age groups maximum you see? Gender, obviously, I think all of us can guess, but.
So there are two specific age groups which I've seen, as a trend and as the analysis what we do at RichFeel. We have the serious long-term customer, which is between the age of 35 and 45. And we have somebody who just wants to come in and go out, or somebody who just has heard, or somebody who just likes to have a quick fix. That is the youngsters between 20 to 25. But they are short-lived, they are short-term.
So these are the more dominant customer categorizations.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Doc? We're past the 1 hour time limit, Doc. That's just because it's been a very wonderful, interesting, and eye-opening discussion for everybody.
Vanity will always be big business for ages to come.
I totally agree with you. Even, listen, I've been personally suggested how many times to tighten my skin here and here by different people. I've been asked to tighten my skin here by different people, and it will exist forever. I don't think it'll ever go away.
Never go away. No.
I don't think the human being will ever be satisfied with the way he or she looks. I always want to improve it. So, Doc, the business will live forever. The question is, how do we make money in the next 10 years and create valuation? That's all.
Sam, next year, right, if we are together and, we pass through this COVID times, right, all I will say is two things. Baal bach gaye. And RichFeel ke hote hue tumhara koi baal baka nahi kar sakta.
Brilliant. That's a great summary. Absolute brilliant summary for a great talk. Thank you so much, Doctor, for enlightening.
Thank you. So happy to see you, Shiv, and so happy to see the full team.
Thank you.
I just want to make a final remark before I go. Wherever I go, a lot of people try to demean my agreements and my decisions to do with brand capital. And I've always told people with specific examples that in 2007, what was my turnover, and in 2017, what was my turnover. From 3 crores, I went to 100 crores in 10 years. I don't know the mathematics as to how much percent growth that is. But I tell everybody that, this was the oxygen which RichFeel required. See, I was there in this market from 1986.
Right.
But it's the 2007 which was the turning point where the corporatization and the brand building of RichFeel really happened. And I think, the vision at Brand Capital, all of your support, I would like to say from the bottom of my heart, a big thank you, and for being such great friends and for giving us the opportunity at every stage in RichFeel.
Thank you. You are very kind as always, and today no exception.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Shiv. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.